What's up, WEBTOON? Mark, and I don't have my usual partner here with me today in this video, but that's alright, because today we're going to react to a video that I've been wanting to react to for a long time. Like, it's been in my list of videos to do forever. So, as some of you may or may not know, I, as well as my partner, am an artist, illustrator, and we've been doing so for about, let's say, 15 plus years. Professionally for about maybe 7 or 8. But today we're going to check out a day in the life of a Japanese manga creator, or in other words, a mangaka. Or maybe it's not a mangaka, maybe it's a someone like a publisher, someone who puts the actual manga together. I don't know, I'm not sure. I didn't deep dive into it because I want everything to be fresh for this reaction. So the kind of art that I create and the kind of books that I create are manga. So I'm actually an American mangaka. I think I know how this is gonna go, but let's kind of see like how this is from the perspective of an American artist. Before I start this video, don't forget to like, comment, and always This is a day in the life of a mangaka. I'm familiar with Pablo from Tokyo. A nice cinematography, getting a little fresh little intro here. iPhone alarm. Shout out to my Android users.
This is Reiji Miyajima, 34-year-old manga creator, also known in Japanese as a mangaka, living in Tokyo, and this is how he starts his day.
Okay, I don't want to pause this thing a ton of times, but I know Japanese culture is vastly different. Well, I know Japanese living culture is vastly different from American culture, but Jesus, we gotta stop sleeping on the floor, guys. Like, it's 2022. Yes, there's tradition, but I'm sure he can afford a bed, even a twin-size mattress. Like, you can't be sleeping on the floor, tearing up your back when you're about to sit down for hours working on a manga. Just a tip.
He has a wife and kids, but they don't stay with him in this apartment, as he rents this place out as a separate office so he can focus on creating manga, as sometimes he requires complete silence to work. Plus, he sometimes uses this office apartment as a place to sleep when working late, like last night.
I mean, my man's is balling to have his own little special. I know people have studios, but he's got a whole apartment for his manga.
His apartment office is only a short walk away from his home studio.
Okay, let's see what it looks like.
It's typical for mangaka in Japan to work from their home. In Reiji's case, the first floor of his home is used for the office while the upper floors are for family use. So, first thing in the morning, he always cleans the first floor bathroom. Since his home is also used as an office, it's important for him to provide a clean toilet for his assistants.
I wonder how much of that is cap. I know sometimes you get deep into your art and creating, and man, sometimes you're not showering, you're not really sleeping, brushing teeth. Those are options at this point. Gotta hit that deadline. So, every day cleaning, if you say so.
Good morning. You're up so early. What time did you sleep last night?
That's not bad. It's pretty good, actually.
So this is his studio office. All the extra desks are assigned to his assistants who will be arriving later today.
Ooh, we got Cintiqs over there?
Years ago and had this area designed specifically for his...
Wait a minute. Is this the Rent-A-Girlfriend mangaka? I've never actually seen him, so I didn't know who he was. But okay, that's dope. I like Rent-A-Girlfriend.
For his manga studio. It's a bit nicer and more modern compared to your stereotypical mangaka studio in Japan.
This is nicer?
So
I mean, it is nice. It's solid.
Which translates to renting a girlfriend. Popular love comedy rensai in the Japanese weekly shonen magazine since 2017.
I'm a fan.
It's been turned into a comic series in partnership with a publisher. Most of all, mangaka strive for rensai status as it signifies that the manga is
as you can see, he's using, it looks like it's a Cintiq. Regardless, it's an external drawing monitor, you know, that he's using from his computer. And it looks like he's using Clip Studio, which I also use Clip Studio. I always thought that was dope that professional manga could use Clip Studio. I remember when it was not like, you know, as popular as it is now, but I'm glad it's gained popularity. I never actually tried the method of having an external screen to draw on. I typically just use a Samsung tablet with the S Pen and go to town, you know, natively from the app. You know, there's no latency. I don't have to really deal with the constraints of my computer because my tablet has all the power it needs. But I actually do want to try this kind of setup.
Popular enough for a weekly mass audience. But as soon as the manga is no longer popular, publishers will usually cancel the series, so mangaka have the pressure to continue to produce and deliver high quality manga every week. Today is Wednesday,
and
it's
color
part of
pages.
the weekly publishing schedule as Reiji's last full day before he needs to submit a genko, which in Japanese means the final completed draft of the weekly manga, to his publisher Kodansha. It's also launch day for his latest manga in the weekly shonen magazine, so in the morning he usually draws a colored illustration.
Hold up. Now he's got a lot of different tools actually.
Which in Japan,
low-key, this is exactly how I look when I'm working on stuff too. There's, you know, other manga everywhere that I'm using for references, that I'm trying to get different references. Yeah, there's just things scattered about, but it's kind of like organized chaos. It's like everything is scattered about, but it's exactly where I need it in arm's length. And I like that he can just kind of roll into wherever he needs to be because he's got the chair. It looks like he was working on a tablet as well.
It's also
so right behind him, I'm also a huge tech guy, so I can kind of point out pretty much any kind of tech, you know, from sight. From the looks of it, it looks like an iPad. I think I see a home button, so it looks like an iPad from here. So I wonder when he chooses to switch and for what reasons, since he has his external monitor to draw on already.
Day for his latest manga in the weekly shonen magazine. So in the morning, he usually draws a colored illustration to post on his Twitter account to promote the new release. You draw everything digitally?
でももう結構デジタルの人が増えてるとは思ってて、自分はこっちの方が早いのと割と今風な絵は描けるかなとは思うので。
I heard that many mangaka have trouble making their weekly deadline, especially paperback
Oh,
ones.
that's to move around the canvas.
So that
that's
must
pretty
be
cool.
the fastest mangaka in Japan, right?
Man, that's dope. Maybe I should invest in one of those. Just being able to draw with one hand and move the monitor just freely with the other hand. But I mean, I don't know how much of a difference it'll make, you know, going from just drawing, moving the tablet, drawing, moving the tablet.
So, did you study how to draw?
そうです。専門学校に行ってそこで2年間ぐらい一応勉強はしましたね。一応ってことないですね。教えてもらって。
So he did learn in school, but he believes he learned more and more as he worked with various publishing editors over time. And what was your first paid job, and how much was it?
一番最初の仕事は読み切り会議を通して読み切りがマガジンスペシャルっていう当時の雑誌に載って。
So he says the manga was about 55 pages with a colored title page, 9,000 yen per page, which is about $82, and the colored title page was about double that, which means he got about $4,675. That's pretty good for his first
Yeah, that's not
job.
bad for just the first gig.
If you are familiar with manga, let me explain how a manga is created. Mangaka start by creating a rough sketch called nemu, which is reviewed by editors from the publishing company who review the sketch in red. Reiji told me that the nemu process takes the most time as it requires about 4 to 5 revisions. Once the editor is satisfied with the sketch, the mangaka draws a final draft called genko, inking the sketch, now done digitally and meticulously.
You know, nowadays I wonder how often that actually happens, the process of the editor reviewing every page before it gets finalized, because the amount of content that manga could put out and push out these days is ridiculous. You know, getting an entire chapter done in a week, sometimes chapters are anywhere from 15 to 30, sometimes the introductory chapters are 60 plus pages, and in a week, there's no way that the editors can constantly keep going through that process just to approve a page when deadlines.
Adding tones and filling drawings in black.
So this is pretty much Reggie's morning. He gets here at 6 and he just pretty much draws all morning.
This guy's inspiring me. He's got some, what's he got going on? Look like he got some anime in the background.
Until 10, so I guess we'll just wait for them to arrive. So while he's working on his manga, let's go explore a little bit.
See the office?
So just right outside the office, it looks like he has this like kind of little workout gym area.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to stay active.
So on the other side, what's also pretty cool is that he has a full-on wall that's a chalkboard. If you go on this side is a chalk.
Side note, I hate drawing with chalk. Just the sound of it, the texture, I wouldn't want that. I'd prefer like a whiteboard if I was gonna do something like that, but that's just me.
So this area looks like another office space. Just to the
wow.
right here, there's a huge
Yo, look at the size of that drawing tablet. Wow, that's huge. I can't even imagine how much one of those costs. Me personally, I was gonna say I've never been a fan of drawing on a canvas that is super huge, where I have to travel to different, quarters of the page. I feel like it's a bit unnecessary, especially with digital art. You can always zoom in as close as you need to be, and I feel like you might lose a bit of perspective with it being so big. I feel like you have to step back a lot, but then again, you can always zoom in and out. So
all of these books behind me. Maybe let's get him to come inside here and explain a little bit more.
private office, huh?
Reggie, what's that?
Oh, he's got a katana? Oh, okay, you wanted a genuine katana.
For his drawings. So can I ask you a favor? Can I draw one line in the manga?
So he's gonna let me draw it right now. Look, he just gave me the pen.
Go ahead. I mean, I could always just undo. You gotta be quicker than that. If any of you know anything about digital art, when you're drawing any sort of lines, you have to make them quick. Not super fast, but fluid motion, because you get that, you see how squiggly his line is as he's drawing it. That's how you get those. But you can also just use shapes, especially in Clip Studio. There's speech bubbles built directly into the program, so you can also go with that. It's a lot better. He's probably like, get out. He's like, get out. Don't ever come back in my studio.
Be a mangaka. So easy, right?
Wow, you guys, my line will be in episode 118, page 13, so check it out.
Sure it will. Sure it will.
There's the first assistant.
I need
How long have you
assistance.
been an assistant? And why are you wearing the same shirt?
彼女をお借りしますっていう作品の主人公ですはい、じゃあ、ヨークさん、はい、20、21、開き、お願いします。これでの部屋ですね。
Now that everyone's here, he instructs each person on what to do one by one, and they share all their drafts in Dropbox, which means that Reiji rarely needs to get out of his seat to work with his assistants. So he usually has 4 to 5 assistants come in every Wednesday, but some mangaka hire 10 assistants on a shift basis. It really depends though on each mangaka and how they like to run their studio. It's also interesting that each...
That size tablet is more of what I work on. Mine is maybe a bit bigger. But yeah, I tend to work in a bit of a smaller canvas, I guess you could say. He's also using Clip Studio, which I guess is appropriate for us to all be using the same things. It's interesting that they use those over the iPad that's in the back. I do think it's dope that he has a significant amount of assistance, because doing it all on your own, so grueling. The first manga that I ever created was 3 volumes, each book was 140 to 160 pages. Doing that with one assistant was tough. Not getting a whole lot of sleep, tough. Like so much inking, all I see is black and white. It's like it's grueling work. So I always respect the grind that goes into any manga.
Them use different drawing tools. I guess it really depends on each mangaka and what makes them feel comfortable when they draw. Did you work as an assistant back in the day?
でも僕そんなには入ってなくて、一番長くて1ヶ月くらいしか僕入ってないです。いろんな作家さんとこ入っていろいろ勉強して、そのノウハウというかやり方、やっぱ本当全然違うんですよ、仕事場によって。作り方とか、スタッフさんへのお願いの仕方であったりとか、資料の用意の仕方とか、システムが全然違くて、それ見ていろんなとこ行って、いいところを使ってっていう感じで現状を生かしてはいますかね。
So it looks like all 4 staff have already arrived. While they're here, let's ask them a few questions to see how their jobs are like.
How long have you been working here?
Do you like your job?
How did you find this job?
Oh, okay, so she has her own manga.
Reiji's 2 male assistants have actually got the Rensai, and usually when this happens, assistants quit to start off on their own, but both have decided to continue to work with Reiji, which says a lot. But let's see, is Reiji a good boss?
No, he right there, of course. He's great.
Yay! Finally, lunchtime! He often goes to lunch with his assistants, but since it's a nice day, he's gonna take his dog for a walk in the park while also grabbing a small lunch.
You know what's also super interesting about Japanese mangaka? Here in America, we're obsessed with the celebrity of people. And a lot of famous authors, we know their faces, and they can't just walk amongst the people. You know, authors, writers, directors, they can't just walk amongst the people because we're gonna know, hey, that's so-and-so. Maybe not everyone, but if you're involved in creating movies, manga, whatever, you're gonna recognize them. And here he's just strolling about, taking his dog for a walk. I think that's super dope. It's an example of like the kind of life I like to live as a mangaka. Just being me, you know?
So, what are you working on now?
これからは原稿の続きをしますね。でもキャラペンって言ってキャラクターのペンがもうある程度終わったので、ここからは自分の書ける背景を書いちゃったりとか、スタッフさんたちに貼ってもらうトーンの指令を入れていく。
I think it's like just a little after 1. They're pretty much going to be doing this the rest of the day until 6 o'clock. So I'm going to just take a little bit of time and explain how kind of this whole mangaka thing works.
Since his manga appears in a weekly magazine, he has a 1-week production cycle. He meets publishers to decide the plot on Monday, works on the final sketch on Tuesday, finishes the Genko final draft with his assistants on Wednesday, and from Thursday through Sunday, he works on drafting and creating the story for the next name, as well as gathering information like taking photos for backgrounds, and then back to the publisher meeting on Monday.
20ページ入ります。1ページ確認お願いします。はい。
There's probably a lot of pressure as an assistant too. Being able to, they're all mangaka as well, working on their own manga, so that is a plus. But there's got to be a lot of pressure to be able to keep the work consistent. It's already extremely hard as the original artist to, you know, make the characters and designs and things be very consistent. I wonder who's got the grunt work. Like, I wonder who's got like a, you're doing nothing but buildings, buddy. And he's like, oh, great.
Okay, that was the first time he moved from his desk during work hours. You just witnessed the biggest action scene at a mangaka. So what do you advise people to do who want to become a mangaka? He says that the manga industry is short with assistants, so if artists have a set of skills, maybe that person can contact the publisher or mangaka directly for a job. He thinks it's important to keep trying to submit your manga to publishers or other manga websites like Pixiv, and also to find your own unique strength that can compete with existing popular mangaka. Look, he uses women's magazines as a reference for female characters, and he even pulls out his heroine, Mizuhara's outfit from the fashion magazine Grey.
Makes a lot of sense because the clothes in Rent a Girlfriend are very detailed, very fashion oriented. Like, there's a lot of women characters, so there's a lot of detail attached to what they wear.
So we're reaching the end of the day, and it looks like the manga is actually starting to come together. You can see that the pictures are starting to get filled out, you can see the tone. So they have to actually finish all of it today and send it to the publisher.
Have you and your assistants finished the Genko?
はい、終わります。
I mean, all of it?
もう完全に終わりますね。お疲れです。また後で。はい、また後で。
Reiji usually goes straight to dinner with his staff after work, but today he has an irregular meeting with his editors, so he's joining a bit afterwards.
So most of it was pretty much what I expected. I totally forgot that he would have assistants. I didn't know how big this mangaka was before the video started. But yeah, I can pretty much relate to almost everything you see in the video, minus the assistants. But we're gonna get there one day, sir. I will throw this thing out here though. I'm not saying this is true, but just totally honest. I know how this industry can be frustrating, it can be grueling, and it can be very, very intense. So I don't know if we got the full exposure of how things are. I'm sure we got the best of what it is. We didn't get an assistant, oh, you didn't get this page done, or I needed this like this, so it needs to be done like this, and you know, and we get the mangaka kind of being a bit strict on the assistants, not because he's an ass, but because his editors and publishers are strict on him to make sure things are quote unquote perfect. So we didn't see any of that. I'm sure that happens from time to time, but nonetheless, great video. Thought it was dope, and I look forward to reacting to more stuff like this. If you like the video, comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one.